G'day, EDSJ. Bishop David here.
And Canon Anna.
So this has been an exceedingly long process.
Very long.
So we are here to do the proper formal launch of EDSJ's new tome, A Holy Experiment, Finding Ourselves Through Finding Others. Canon, I'm trying to remember, when did we start this book?
Well, I remember when we came off the Pilgrimage of Hope in 2019 that you said, I have a new project for us, but you wouldn't tell me, and I kept bugging you about it. And so finally in August, you told me we're going to write a book. And so in September, we sat down, I think at your desk, and you were on one side and I was on the other, and the typing began in September of 2019.
That long ago.
Yes, yes.
So EDSJ and others, there have been writes and rewrites and additional writes, and the writes carry on. I think we finished a draft, or the second draft of this book, at some juncture, I can't remember. Canon, you would know, you remember those things. And yet we realized the book wasn't finished.
Right.
Or the book wasn't finished with us. And it was about the exact time that we discovered the pandemic called COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we actually had planned to only have 12 chapters in the book, and as you'll see when you read it, there are actually 13 chapters, and the 13th chapter is about living in COVID realities as a diocese. And so the 13th chapter was added at the last minute, but it's a very important chapter, and the book is never going to be done, because it's kind of like the gospel in some way. We've set the stage, but now we have to live into it.
And I agree with the canon, as I typically do. That COVID chapter was so important. And I think what it identifies, everybody, is this diocese over the last, in my time, the last 8 years, for the canon last 5 years, we've been preparing for this season of pandemic. Obviously not knowing what it would be, but our behavior, our ways of being have been preparation for us. So it's right and proper that we wrote that chapter.
Absolutely.
To finish this book. So tell me about your favorite parts. What was the favorite parts for you in putting this together with me?
So,
and don't be too cheeky.
So, the whole book is my favorite, right? Because it's our story. But there are chapters, as you'll see as you read it, that we wrote together as a dialogue. And so it's kind of like, imagine if you get to sit in the room with the bishop and I and just hear the way our brains work and the kind of conversations we have together. You kind of get to be a fly on the wall, if you will, in those moments. And so those chapters are my favorite, without a doubt. And then secondly, and I must admit this, we put a little photo album at the end of the book, sort of documenting our journeys around the diocese, and that was really fun for me to pull those photos back.
Lovely. So for me, it was in this indelible image, this of sitting on either side of the desk, usually in my office. If I'm leading a chapter, the canon is working on her computer, capturing the monologue, and then we reciprocate that, and here's the really memorable part. Invariably, when we're on a canon chapter, and I'm going slow with my typing, she'll say at some juncture, Bishop, I'll take the computer now.
Yeah, this was what you
were something like not quite as bad. It was a lovely experience doing this with you.
It was super fun.
Thank you 3 times, thank you. This book, everyone, and especially EDSJ, is for all of our saints, all of the faithful of this diocese, this quirky wee place, which has prompted this quirky wee book in quite an unusual fashion that it was written, but one about which we feel really good. Please tell everyone, Canon, how they can get this book.
There are so many ways that you can access this book. You can go to Amazon.com and get yourself a hard copy for $25. If you are a Kindle aficionado, we also have it available on Kindle for $9.99. The bishop and I also have a limited number of copies that will be signed by both of us. that we will be carrying around in our cars. And so if we are in your place for a visitation and you would like to buy a copy that has been signed already by the bishop and I, we will happily take your money on the spot. And it's still just $25. The signatures don't cost you anything extra. Of course, if you get one on Amazon, certainly bring it to the bishop and I, and we'll be happy to sign it for you. And as soon as we can get our swag shop uploaded to the diocesan website, there'll be a link there for you to purchase it as well. All the proceeds from the book go to support the mission and ministry here in the Diocese of San Joaquin. So, sorry, Bishop, no helicopter for you this year.
No worries. We have so many people to thank. Everybody mentioned in this book, those who aren't mentioned. A particular shout out to our mate and our colleague, Deacon Stephen Bentley, who did all the illustrating throughout this book. Thank you, Deacon, for a job well done. So as the canon said, we'll be like bootleggers with these books in the boots of our cars. And that sounds like the perfect segue as I pass this glass, our diocesan glasses, to the canon. And so we charge our glasses and we charge them to you, EDSJ. Job well done.
Thank you, EDSJ, for making this our home.
Cheers.